We're talking Lululemon. They've got earnings coming up in the next couple days, but this is one of those names that gets pretty high marks as far as consumer sentiment goes through social media, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, people love these pants. They love the brand. They love the clothes. When we look at LikeFolio data for Lululemon, what we're looking at, we call purchase intent mentions. So this is people talking about actually buying from the company and buying their clothing lines. And for Lululemon, what we've seen over the last quarter or so is a really sharp increase on a year-over-year basis in terms of our purchase intent mentions, which tells us that consumer demand for the product is very high. On this chart, you can see these purchase intent mentions by quarter, and what I have in the red rectangles is a look at each of the Q4s for Lululemon over the past 3 years, and the one on the far right is the one they're going to report this quarter. So we're expecting a really good, strong report from Lululemon. The one caveat I would say is that the stock has already run up a very considerable amount. In fact, we think too much. So, you know, there's a little disconnect there. It's one of those tough plays because we think the company is going to come out with really good numbers and good guidance, but the stock has already run so far that it's going to be really tough to match those expectations.
Yeah, I think a couple analysts out there in the street have been reading some of your LikeFolio data, Andy, because we've got some lowered estimates coming out of both Wedbush and MKM Partners over the last couple days, based on the fact that comparables, and this is going to be a slower first quarter than a lot of companies have realized during the earnings season, but their margins are so high and the comparables just aren't there. Is that basically what the data is telling you, that, hey, it's still a great product, they're still doing really well, but comparables are going to be really tough this quarter?
Yeah, very difficult. I think anytime you know, a stock has run the way that Lululemon has, it tells you pretty much all you need to know about Wall Street's expectations. And while we see strong growth on the consumer demand side, it's just not that strong. And you know, that's kind of a tough balance to take as an investor and as a trader. The one thing I will say on the margin side, we do see some indications that Lululemon has pricing power. Their loyalty program is really well received by folks, and it seems to indicate that the company has pricing power to take prices higher, which is always a good thing for a company in this space.
All right, for more on social media, let's bring in TD Ameritrade Network's own Evelyn Baker. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks.
Perfect topic for you to talk about. So what are you seeing on social media as far as this company goes? Because you got the people that wear it and they love it.
Absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of, which is actually pretty fun, I'm seeing a lot of people responding to a Wall Street Journal article about Lululemon venturing into a whole new sphere. They're playing with a work line for men that's replacing the traditional suit and slacks for their own work line. And so I actually found one tweet about it that said that Lululemon makes business casual pants now. I work at a fairly stuffy professional services firm and I see them constantly. And Tom, I have one big question for you. Yeah. Would you ever wear Lululemon pants to work?
I would on a day that I wasn't going to be on air, but that's the thing. And think about that. That goes into that whole Goldman Sachs mentality where they're going casual now. Now, Andy, does this foray provide another opportunity for Lululemon, or do you think they're stretching it, thinking that everybody's going to turn into this business casual stuff wearing stretchy Lululemon pants?
Look, maybe a little bit of a stretch, but I will say that you know, what we see is that the men's side of the business for Lululemon, which was, you know, essentially laughed off a couple of years ago, has really started to take hold, and you know, especially in men's pants. So I think there's something to this. I'm not sure if it's, you know, replacing the suit, or I wouldn't go that far, but they're definitely making some progress when it comes to outfitting the professional man. I think that there's something to that, at least on the you know, casual Friday side of things. Yeah,
and their workout stuff. You know, I've got some items. $90 shorts. Come on, man.
I know. I mean, these blazers are about $200. The pants I saw were $130. But compared to a suit from, I don't know, Joseph A. Bank or one of those, I mean, it's maybe a little bit cheaper once you get it tailored and everything to fit you custom.
Yeah, and it might be that stretchy wicking stuff, and I don't know if I want to wear a suit like that. But you've got another tweet for us, right?
I do, yes, and this one definitely is projecting ahead of earnings. It says that Alex says that Lulu is selling at a premium product in high volumes, and that the chart looks rested and ready for leg number 2 to $200. And 200 is a level that Lulu's never quite seen. Do you think that even with a big earnings swing, they could reach that high?
Well, I think, and Andy, maybe you can back me up because your data shows it also. Besides that last quarter, Lululemon typically goes up after earnings historically. But like we said, their margins might be topping out and comparables are tough. So, I think that ability to go up after earnings is always there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that the, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the market maker move on this, the anticipated move is about 10% either way, which is pretty significant. And so I think we've got to be a little bit careful going into this report. I understand what the tweet was saying. I just think that expectations are extremely high for this company, and it's going to be tough to match those without some sort of forward guidance into pricing power or really showing an overwhelming level of demand for their products, which is going to be tough to put out after this quarter.